Hello YouTube, Al here, and this week we're going to be looking at the Nother Blues Drive. So this is yet another mini pedal from the Far East. It's an Overdrive pedal. It's supposedly, I heard online, I don't know how true it is, it's basically supposed to be based on the Boss Blues Driver, but a Keeley modded one. So it's kind of its own thing. I mean, bear in mind, if this is meant to be a copy down to a price, the components are going to be not the exact same ones, so, you know, kind of view it in its own right. Take it with a pinch of salt, that's what I say. But that's the sort of area that it's aiming for. So, let's have a look at the controls. Well, let's go with the spec first. It's 9V DC, as most of these little pedals are. Can't fit a battery in because you never can with these mini pedals. We have a level control. Where is it? This side, level control, which is the volume of the pedal. The gain is the big knob there, and the tone, which is obviously the EQ. One way's more bright, the other way's more kind of dark. And we have a hot switch, so that's the warm, which is kind of less gainy, less compressed, and then the hot switch, it's kind of like two voicings really. So that's the spec of this little thing. I mean, it's a nice little aluminium case. There's really not a lot to say about it. Nice little bright LED there. True bypass, always nice to know if it is or not. Let's plug it in. Okay, so the guitar I'm using is my Ratacaster, which is a part caster, so it's a no-name body. Literally don't know what it is. It's got an R on the plate here that was from the original. I've no idea what brand it is. The neck is a Squire Affinity neck. Nice rosewood fretboard. Ooh. Vance and tuners, cheap on Nico pickups. It's got some weird wiring in here, but I'm only going to be doing the normal Strat stuff because otherwise it would take forever. So the amp I'm using is a custom double barrel. That's a 2x12. It's solid state. It's kind of a Fender blackface kind of thing-ish. In that sort of area, in that ballpark. So let's go for the clean. Clean sound. Here we go. I've got the level to match the amplifier. The tone's a little bit past 12 o'clock and the gain's about 2 o'clock. It's on the warm setting at the moment. So that's the warm. I'm going to flip between the warm and the hot so we can hear the differences. So I'll do some quick chords actually. So here's the warm. Hot. Wow, that's a lot thicker. boosting volume. So, that's the gain about 2 o'clock. It's really quite a low gain overdrive. It feels very smooth, rounded, big, sort of fluffy, if that makes sense. There's no hard-edged clipping to it. It sounds really smooth when it's in tune. It was in tune when I bought it. Still funny. So I'm going to whop the gain back. Whop, that's a new word. I whop the gain back and the level up. So the gain's about just over a quarter past, and I've turned the level up to about 3/4 of the way up. So this is off. That's alright. That little bit of compression now, but not a lot of gain. So turn the gain up then, I'll pop it back to 12 o'clock, level down a bit, so let's see if it matches. It's a bit less gain than what we started with, so. It's just adding a little bit of compression, a little bit of hair to the sound. Sorry, it's getting hot in here. I tried the hot, so this is warm and hot. Okay, so the hot sounds like it's a hell of a lot bigger, kind of fatter. Kind of woollier. ridiculous now. So I'll try it back on the warm, but now I'm going to whack the gain up to 3/4. Level to match. Clean pedal. So it really adds kind of a compression to the single notes more than anything. It feels really jangly still with the Strat. It doesn't lose any of its Stratiness. So let's go on to the hot mode now. I mean, this is quite a low gain pedal, so I mean, this is the gain on full. That's the warm mode. Does nothing. Really not a lot. Although I quite like the character of the gain. It's really, it feels quite open. Although a bit woolly. What I mean is, it doesn't seem to have like a mid hump or anything like a Tube Screamer. It doesn't have like a fizzy kind of top end like say the Hustle Drive does, which is more of a rock beast. That's on. Gain on full. So let's move on to the hot. Little dimmer switches up. I'm going to turn the gain right back because otherwise we'll die. And the level down because I don't want my ears to bleed. I need them for things. Clean again. Here's with the drive on, 1/4 of the way up. Yeah, sorry, cam's slipping. Feels a lot bigger, there's a lot more bass end coming through. Let's try the gain about halfway up now. This is off. Bridge pickup on a Strat. I mean, this is clean. So I'll turn the tone up. It feels muffled. It's off. Still not a lot of gain being added at all. You can feel a little bit of compression under the fingers. Not a lot going on. No. And turn the tone up more. More tone. Hear the bass come in when I turn the pedal on. So, I'm going to turn back to about halfway. Gain is about 3/4 of the way up. Way woolly. Going to turn the tone up. Go crazy. Gain all the way up. Pedal off. Right. Massive. It feels a bit disconnected from the notes. If we go to the warm, then all that stratness comes back. Really tiny. It's tiny. It's really quiet now because the hot's obviously a lot louder, so. And the level up. This is the warm. there's really not a lot of gain. This is without. Let's go back to the warm. Hot. It loses the strattiness when it goes to the warm, like. You can hear, that's a single coil, you can hear it coming through. So there we have it, a look at the Nother Blues Drive. I quite like this pedal. I really like the warm mode. I'm not that much of a fan of the hot mode. I feel like in the warm mode it feels kind of transparent, but I like that the gain's got a bit of a soft attack on it. So I mean, there's a lot of talk with transparent overdrives, and I've thought to myself quite often, are they all really similar? I mean, what I interpret by transparent is there's no real mid hump or scoop or, you know, bass boost or treble boost or whatever, and I'd say this kind of falls into that category. It doesn't feel particularly gainy. It doesn't feel particularly mid humpy or anything like that, but I like that the gain structure is quite smooth on it. It's still pokey, it's still got the poke to it, so it will cut through, but it feels quite rounded, and it's a different sort of gain from, say, a tube screamer kind of gain, or the more, give me a second, it's a bit different from the more hustle drive, which I've been experimenting with, which also has one of those and one of those, which kind of does the similar sort of thing to this, to be honest. It's sort of a louder and more gainy thing, but this really makes the difference. This is a big swap on this one. Big difference between the warm and the hot, which is a lot more compressed and a lot more gainy, whereas on the Nother I just find you get more volume and it feels a little bit more muddy, or should I say less defined. I felt that it sort of lost its strattiness, whereas if you go to the warm mode, everything's there, it's great, it compresses all the notes. I mean, by that I mean you can hear the clarity in all the strings ringing out, and it adds a little bit of sustain to it. That's what I mean by the compression. I don't mean it as in gain or as in saturation, you know. I mean it as in just helping it, sort of giving it a little shove, a little push along a little bit. Yeah, it's quite a low gain overdrive. There's really not a lot of gain in this. That being said, it's good to boost you for say a lead solo or something live. You could use this as your main rhythm sound if you wanted, and then put something else on top of it. You know, gain stack or EQ pedal or boost pedal, whatever as your lead. But you could also use this as a lead sound on top of your other overdrive pedal, to be fair. Because it's so transparent, the notes really do kind of sing. Again, there's not a lot of gain, but I think that's the best way I could describe the feeling. It is a feeling thing with overdrive pedals. It just makes the notes sing quite pleasantly, quite in a nice way. I found the tone knob didn't really do a huge amount, I suppose. I mean, it depends on, I'm in quite a small room here, so I can't really crank my amp. I know it's solid state, but there's no substitute for moving air. So I'm afraid I can't really crank it, but I don't know, I found the tone didn't really do that much, or rather I didn't want to do a lot with the tone knob. I suppose, again, if the way you wanted to use this, if it's like a lead boost or just as rhythm sound, you know, in your amp, depend on how you want to set these controls. But overall, yeah, not a bad little overdrive pedal at all. I'm pretty happy with it, yeah. I got this second hand for about, was it 20 quid? Yeah, about 20 quid. A fiver shipping included, so really about 15 quid. You can't sniff at that deal. A second hand, by the way. I don't get any of these free, or I don't get any of them new from companies. I mean, it's just literally just me buying second hand crap because I like it. So 15 quid's worth overdrive, definitely. Really nice little pedal. Is it as good as a Blues Boss Blues Driver? I can't say because I've not played one. I've not tried one. But that being said, it's a really nice, nifty little overdrive pedal. If you want a sort of blues to light rock, maybe classic rock, suppose maybe heavy rock, depending on your amplifier, etc., etc., this could probably do that. If you're looking for metal, nah, probably no. I'd say that for me, the gain structure's too transparent, too dynamic. It's all about the dynamics with this sort of overdrive. Definitely about the dynamics and clarity with this, even though there's a little bit of compression. So it's not really a metal kind of thing, I suppose. Again, transparent overdrives are great as lead boosts, so feel free to experiment or put it where you want in the chain. But if you're using this on its own, it's going to be a really nice little overdrive pedal for your rhythm sound. So there you have it, the Nother Blues Drive. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Al. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And until then, I'll see you next week. So, bye.
Bye!